Hello, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. We're Ladies UX San Francisco. My name is Clara, and this is Jane.
Hi, I'm Jane.
And we're super excited to be here today. We're going to be having a couple of really exciting talks. Our main speaker is Hannane Cherifi, and we'll also hear from Osaki, who is the leader of Ladies UX EMEA. And we'll be talking about personas. So before I get started, a couple of quick things. We'll go through a little bit about who Ladies That UX San Francisco is and how to connect with us. And we also invite you to post comments if you have questions along the way, and we'll get through them in the Q&A later. So just to get started, let me pull this up. Okay. So Ladies UX San Francisco has been around for almost 7 years now. Actually, that's pretty exciting. Happy birthday. And we normally host events on a monthly basis in the Bay Area in California, but since the pandemic, we've been doing online events most months. We have events from speakers who can talk about everything from UX careers to specific skills to mentorship. And we're always looking for new speakers. So if you're interested, definitely reach out. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and you can also email us directly at sanfrancisco@ladiestatux.com. And we'll send out all of this information afterwards so that you can connect with us there. Jane, anything you'd like to add, talk about?
Yeah, we have some pretty exciting panels that are coming up in the next couple of months, and we actually are looking for specifically for speakers who are interested in talking about kind of what it's been like to grow your career remotely. So if anyone on the broadcast now is interested, please, like Claire said, tweet at us, check us out on Facebook, email us, get in touch because we would love to hear from you.
Definitely reach out. We're always looking for folks who want to speak, or if you have ideas, if there's something you want to hear about, let us know, and we can work with you to find someone who can talk about that. All right, well, enough about us. I would love to introduce Mari Osaki, who is the leader of Ladies UX EMEA. She'll talk a little bit about the history of Ladies UX as an organization, and also about her work in Ladies UX Milan. All right, take it away.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I'll go to your slide second.
So just a quick overview of Ladies That UX, what we do. So we are a global community, friendly global community, and we are present in more than 85 cities around the globe. You can also go on. And our goal is to encourage and support women and non-binary people that work in the design sector, also in tech. I'm the regional director of EMEA, as Clara said. So you can go. So we have now 26 cities, chapters involved in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Also, one of the chapter leaders of Ladies That UX Milan. So follow us for more events. We're going to have another event coming soon in the beginning of March. But anyway, like we're sorry. Can you see me?
No, we lost you, but we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Wait. Oh,
thanks for bearing, everyone. We're testing out this platform.
I don't know what happened, but
we can hear you just fine, though.
Okay, I'm gonna keep speaking. Okay, sorry about that. That I'm using a filter to cover my like my background here. So for Ladies That UX Milan, we're going to have another event coming soon, and also this event now that we're having specifically is very important for us because it's the launch of our new channel, Ladies That UX in English, where we're going to have all the chapters that are English speakers around Europe, around also North America, and around Pacific, to have together all these chapters in events. So it's really exciting. Sorry about the camera, but I think that's it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Mari. And yeah, we're definitely, if anyone from Ladies UX is watching and wants to share your events, let us know. Because we're one of the nice things about this time is we have been able to reach a lot more people who aren't physically in the Bay Area, who want to learn about UX, who want to speak about what they're doing. So we'd love to hear from you and to have you participate. So let us know, join our channels, check out the other chapters. You can go to ladiesux.com to learn more about Ladies UX around the world. Everyone's welcome, regardless of how you identify. So do join our community. All right. Well, thanks again. Do engage with the chat if you have questions as we go. It's now my privilege and pleasure to introduce Hannane Cherifi. She is a product designer based out of Brazil, who's done a lot of really interesting work on personas, and we're really looking forward to hearing her insights today. She's also the leader of Ladies That UX Florianópolis, so it's exciting to see the Ladies UX community growing around the world and be able to learn from her and what she's doing over there. So with that, Hannane, do you want to come online and introduce yourself? Let's add you.
Hi, everyone. May I share my screen then?
Yes, please. Here, I'll stop. Right.
Just a second. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Hi, everyone. Have a good morning or afternoon, depending where you are. My name is Hannane Cherifi. I am a chapter leader of Ladies That UX Florianópolis in Brazil. Today, I'll share with you a method on how to prioritize the features of a product based on its personas. I should mention to my fellow Portuguese speakers, viewers, that this talk is also available in Portuguese on Ladies That UX in Portuguese channel here on YouTube. Just a second. Okay, so just a little bit about me. I am currently a product designer at Loadsmart. Loadsmart is a digital freight startup from New York, now based in Chicago. Through our platform, shippers can get instant quotes, even book a truck in seconds, and track shipment from pickup to delivery. I am graduated in advertising and design. I also have like six more years of experience in software houses and product companies. And for last, I am one of the chapter leaders of the chapter from Florianópolis. Okay, so let's talk about what's on the agenda today. Basically, I'll go briefly over what are personas, since this audience probably already knows quite well. Why we should balance personas and use it in our favor as designers. And lastly, I will show you how to turn personas into design requirements. Okay, so what are personas? So personas are fictional characters which you create based on your research in order to represent different types of users that might be using your product in a similar way. Creating personas helps the designer understand the user's needs, experiences, behaviors, and goals, and also helps you empathize when it comes to building solutions. But why should we balance personas? I believe that's not a very common technical term to use, but you'll see later on what I meant by that. And what do I mean by balancing personas? So if you ever build a persona, you may have noticed that oftentimes the teams end up prioritizing one of them. And that's how you've probably been doing for a while, right? No fuss, just giving the higher relevance to the larger base of users represented, because after all, one of the personas usually represents the majority of the users, and we usually do that. We prioritize the one that represent a larger base. But that depends, because after all, what is the goal of the product you're building? What about the goal of the company that developed it? Was it to increase profit, reach more users, maybe expand its operations? What were their goals? Let's say the goal of the company that developed the product is to profit through app purchases. If the persona representing the majority of this audience does not purchase anything in it, would you prioritize the persona when developing features? That's a situation where you can use this method. Another example, if your company aims to increase the number of orders from an e-commerce, and you realize the persona representing the majority of your audience buys every 6 months, maybe a high ticket even, but every 6 months, and maybe has a lower ticket shopping performance, but does it more often? Like you have users that do that. So would you come up with a solution to stimulate this persona shopping behavior, like the one that shops every 6 months? Or would you focus on the persona that is not a loyal customer, but actually buys more in revenue? Feeling a bit confused? I know that it's not a very easy thing to explain, this method, but I will show you how to use personas in your favor. Hang in there. This subject is often associated with marketing since it involves sales and so on. However, I'll show you how to use that in the sense that you can use it as an argument and no way to advocate for your personas and to advocate for your solutions when you come out in the future. So how to turn personas into design requirements? To show you how this works, I'll break the method into stages. So first is data analysis. Then we should define the persona's value. After that, we determine the concept's value and evaluation of different stages. Okay, so talking a bit about data analysis. First step you need in order to do this method is to gather data. So when you get to the point where you have tons of data, like results from interviews, tests, and other methods, maybe usability testing, maybe you're doing a much higher research that doesn't only involve your user, but also the demographics where this persona is inserted, and you have no clue how to define the relevance, that's time to organize them. So you can also use analytics and any information that you may use to gather and build up a proto persona. So you can use mind maps and mood boards to make all data clearer. That way it will be easier to establish a hierarchy between concepts and create more accurate personas. It would be also easier to define their personal and professional interests and consumer habits. So is he or she a tech enthusiast? Maybe is a nature lover. We need this depth of research to move on to the next stages. Knowing as much as you can on the personas, we get to the stage where we define the persona's value. So in this step, you'll define the value of your personas have according to their degree of affinity with your product. If you have 4 personas, one of them will likely use your product or feature more often. So, or one of them will reach your goal faster. So you can you can do a feature that is for all of them. One of them will stand out and will be a priority for each feature. So it's important to keep their interest in mind, and also what the odds might be that they would be interested in certain concepts or features in your product. Keep in mind, for instance, the tech enthusiast or the nature lover. They could be interested in different things, and they would probably be interested in different features. So once we start doing the balancing of the personas, you see how this fits perfectly Okay, don't be scared. People usually say that you don't use math in design, but you'll see that we can use it as a very powerful tool when it comes to personas. Tangible evidence. That's the first and main thing. Like we can have tangible evidence to show to our stakeholders, or even just to justify what we're doing as designers. So the persona 1 has a higher value than the persona 2, and the persona 3 has a less value than the persona 2. So the persona in green, for instance, has the most importance in the graph, since his or her chances to engage with the product are higher, viability, and her interest is placed in a medium to high quadrant. And so I'll give here a very easy example that I often use to explain that. If you have a gym, you have different personas as clients, right? There is the user who goes to the gym every day, sometimes more than once a day, making the most of the facility. This user pays the same price as the user that shows up twice a week. Same thing for the user that pays once and never shows up. What is the goal of the gym in particular? Is it to keep the most active users as they can? If we do have only frequent visitors as personas, wouldn't the gym be always crowded and the equipment lose its value faster? If the goal is only to increase profit, the user that pays once and never comes back may be the most valued persona, wouldn't you say? Because he's not using he or she is not using the facility and is giving the money. And if the goal is just profit, that would make sense. After establishing the value of each persona, meaning that we have assessed that the non-frequent visitor of the gym is more valuable than the frequent one, for example, regarding your goal, of course, now it's time to determine each concept value. When I say concept, it does not only work for features. You can use that method with physical experiences, as well as such as having bright colors in your workspace, or even choosing a type of food that you will serve to your audience. You can even try some role playing to do this kind of thing that I'm about to tell you. So after doing all that, after establishing who is the most valuable persona to your goal, to the goal of the product or the company, you need to calculate the value of the features you gathered. So describe the value of each persona against the affinity or the importance that they will give to each feature in the matrix. So the features gain more value according to the persona's relevance, so that the chances of success will be higher. So you see now like A, B, C, D, but on the next slide, you see what A, B, C, D could mean to you when you're using this method. So to do so, you have to insert in the matrix a grade each persona would give to a specific feature. Now that you've gathered all the data, you've researched it, you've interviewed them, you know everything about them. So you can grade it as if you were them. So let's say D represents a clean interface with neutral colors on it. The persona in green, that may be categorized as a technology enthusiast, would grade that interface as a 6 in a 1 to 6 scale. The persona in blue thinks it would be nice to interact with a colorful interface, so he or she gives the interface a score 4. So you already know everything about your persona. You know what they would like and they wouldn't like. So you now grade every one of the things that you wanted to include in the interface, and then we will cross them to see which concept or feature is more important in your product. Since you know persona in green would definitely like the clean interface, you can say that he or she would grade a 6, right? So this persona has 2 times value. So his or her opinion worth 12 points because it's 2 times 3. The value we give to personas can change over time, since the next roadmap or quarter could bring different goals to the table. But as a clean interface, colorful interface, we can insert all kinds of concepts in the matrix. You see the value right on the right. It's the first the value that the stakeholders or the product or the company establish as their goal. You check with the personas how relevant they are in order to achieve that goal. So you could use like, you want to I don't know, do an application or a website for I don't know, for younger people. So and your goal is to profit. So would you go for younger people that have rich parents, or would you go for young people in general? So since you're starting to define who your persona is, you need to know if you have more than one persona using your application or your website, how important each of them are in order to prioritize a feature or even a location of an information in your website. So yeah, that seems really cool, but how could I ever apply that to a real case? I don't have enough time, or even I don't know if I can actually do that exercise of grading things and concepts as if I were the persona. So I have worked in a startup called Delivery Much Brazil. It is a food delivery marketplace such as Foodora or Uber Eats. And here we were running a card sorting research as part of the research to redesign the startup website. Not sure if anyone here has run a card sorting method, but when we have the card sorting results, we even distribute the final answers this way in a called distant matrix. It's, in my opinion, the best way to understand what is the distance between the grouping the users have done. So just so that everyone can understand, card sorting is a method used to help design or evaluate the information architecture of a website or a product. And in a card sorting section, participants organize topics into categories that make sense to them. So card sorting helps us gain valuable insight about the structure of data. People usually group things in different ways, and that's what the card sorting goal is, like getting to know what information is actually relevant in addition to another information that we want to share. So the result of that is that we could have like plenty of groups with specific informations in it. And so we had relations between a few concepts, like the blog would go together with social media information, or that login, sign up would go with account information. And the Delivery Much landing page is visited by different kinds of users, such as the one that buys food, the franchisor, since their business format is expanding through franchises, the rider, and the restaurant. So how should I prioritize the information in the main page without balancing personas value? Like I have all this kind of different people accessing, visiting the main website, and I have to show all the information to all these people. So how should I prioritize the information in this main page? In agreement with the stakeholder, we've come up with the value each one has, each one of these personas that access the website, relating to the goal of the company, the goal that the company had at the time, which was profitability. So user, like the food buyer user, had the biggest value. After then the franchisor, the rider, and for last, the restaurant. So knowing their interest in goals, we thought on how would they grade each grouping in the matrix. So you see that matrix we could use for specific things like clean interface and colorful, but we can also use it for specific groupings that a card sorting may have as a result. So So as the outcome, we've had the relevance each group would receive in the landing page. So you see here, like the user was like not sure if you can see, you can see my cursor. So the user was like the most relevant, then the franchisor, then the rider, and the restaurant. And each one of them would give a specific grade to a grouping, because they would say that for the franchisor, let's see. So for the franchisor, seeing the blog and social media is actually relevant, because they may do some sort of research before buying a franchise, right? So we would see those groupings and grade as if we were the persona, because we already have the knowledge to do so. And then we would have a result to see what was the higher one. So this was like cities that we had franchises, privacy, politics, and about the delivery much. So this one should be the grouping that has the most importance in the main page on the website. So that's what it's for. So lastly, you can evaluate this balance in many stages of your research. So you can do that. By having the insight on how relevant each persona or feature is to your project. You are able to apply these measurements to different stages of your project, such as wireframes, deciding icon styles, prioritizing features, and so on. You can also use it in flows, and if you want to see should you choose between field icons, detail icons, linear icons. You can even grab information on A/B testing, so that you can see that a specific persona would convert, or would like a specific outcome on your page. And you can also add all of this to your research, so that you can make these gradings more accurate. And you can also insert questions in your interview if you feel that you can actually grade for someone, like for a persona. You can ask questions in your interview, like, would you prefer this or this? And then if you have like a great audience that you can back that up, okay, like 80% of the people that we interviewed and are related to that persona have chosen that. So we now know that they prefer this specific style, or they find it more attractive. And it helps to know the relevance of each feature and focus on the goals of the project. So you need to align the goal of the company, the goal of the feature, what the persona likes and dislikes, and how would you weight them according to all these goals and everything you want to achieve. So to sum up, more than the confidence it brings when it comes to develop any kind of feature, concept, or component to your user, the method presented can also help you advocate for your suggestions, since it's grounded on the user's profile. If you are in a company that has no UX culture, if someone asks why a specific component that it has this color or it's located in a specific place, you can show the research as the reason. And okay, so I think that was it for me. I think we have questions. I just seen here. But if you want to talk to me about it, I'm very open. We can talk through LinkedIn. You can send me an email, even on Instagram. And I also have an article about the subject. If you want to like dig deeper, it's in that link. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I went too fast.
Thank you so much, Hannane. That was great. Thank you for the time and for going into all the method detail. Super useful, and definitely something I know I'll be keeping in mind next time I make personas.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, this was great. I'm wondering, are there questions? I'm seeing comments coming up. I'm glad that the video is working now. But if you have questions, do post them, and then we'll ask. Thanks. Oh, and so to start, I guess I'll ask a question. So you mentioned that you use this method in combination with some of with interviews. I'm wondering if you can give a specific example of how you've changed the weightings or some of the insights as you learn things from discovery research.
Yeah. So we would have at first, like the first outcomes at the interviews, that some of our personas would be conservatives, for example. And what we would do in next interviews is kind of think of questions that someone who we think is conservative will answer in a specific way. So instead of actually just going straight and asking, "Are you a conservative?" We would see what makes a conservative, and then we will ask specific questions and check their answers, and then we would evaluate. Okay, this persona is like the most conservative we have, so we know that they wouldn't go to animated interfaces, like very colorful, or even I don't know, something that could lean to something that we didn't want to show off, right? So we would actually keep doing the researches and the interviews and kind of thinking, like inserting some questions that we actually had, that we weren't sure that they would grade it that way or the other way. So if we would do a grading that like linear icons, which is something very, very specific, sometimes we would just choose two interfaces. And when we were interviewing, we would just change that and then ask the person if he can see the difference. And if most of them would choose like the other version, we would try and keep tab on the profile of the persona. Like, okay, we have done, I don't know, 20 interviews. Most of them have chosen the linear icon one. So we would keep like building and adding more and more information on all the preferences of the personas. And of course, no one is the same, right? And we would have different different preferences on different things, but they are like the persona itself, like we are like making like a sketch of what would be the most common preferences.
That makes sense. Thank you for answering that. Great. So actually, on a related note, we have a question from Sam, which I'll post this, I think. Yeah. So Sam says, I'm wondering if this method only works with card sorting in interviews, or if you can use it for only for interviews or only for card sorting.
No, you can use, well, I mean, like the card sorting and the interviews are basically like one thing that you can have it, it's easier because you get the information specifically from the persona that you are applying or like running the card sorting or even interviewing. But you can have different information from analytics. So if you can have like on Hotjar, like some profiles that you can set, like segment, I don't know, a location or even specific tags that you have, or a specific part of your website, at least, that you know that only that type of persona access, you can try and see their behavior if there's something that stands out and have more relevance. And you can keep adding information to your persona like that. But you can use like the interviews and the card sorting is a way to input information on your persona. So you can do other types of researches. Yeah, I think usability testing may be a way too, because even if you are trying out a specific segment of your product, you probably have, am I Is it cutting?
No, I think there might be a little bit of an internet lag, but we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, you can input the information on personas in different ways.
Got it. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sam, for the question. To respond to another question that came in, yes, this recording will be available, I believe. Is that right, Maria? It should post to the thing right after. Okay. Keep the questions coming. Love to know what others are wondering about, or if anyone's tried this in the past or something similar and has thoughts. I'm not sure if we'll give you everyone a minute to type. While we're waiting, I'll ask one more question. So I'm curious about how you use this method in combination with other kinds of research. I know you've spoken about how you do interviews and other potential applications of this method to other research methods like usability. But in terms of like when you start creating a persona, when do you do this versus when are you getting the details for the persona? What does that look like? Oh, now there might be a lag. Did you hear the question, Hannane?
You're on mute.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, my computer is not charging, so I think it's like doing something. So
no.
But I think I have a couple of minutes until it's going dark. Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
No, well, we'll let you go then. If your computer's running out of battery, but my question was mostly around how this relates to other kind of foundational research that you might be doing to develop the personas, and what's your go-to initial method to establish a persona?
To establish a persona, we usually do proto-personas first through our data that we already have, like analytics and Hotjar, and we will do like a specific sketch. And then we would like try and do an interview script with all the questions that we have in order to better understand the profile of the persona. If we have specific assumptions that we have, and try and see if that is true, and if it's if we can build some other informations. But I believe that the continuous interviewing, it's like the best way to kind of build more information on your personas. But I think, yeah, interview is like the best form to figure that out. But analytics also helps, at least at first, to have a sketch of it, like a draft.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thank you for answering that. Okay, if you still have battery, I think we can take one more question from Bruno. All right, let me post that one. So, oh, there we go. Is there a way to work around the card sorting method now that we shouldn't go meet our personas?
To work around?
Because we're remote right now.
We can do remote card sortings. There are tools for that. I think Optimal Workshop is one of them, but I'm not quite sure if I'm just mixing the names. But we can do interviews remotely as well. Like we can sketch up like something through the analytics, just like I said. And also, you could also do try and see and check with other people on your company if they already have an idea of what they think that the persona looks like. That's really cool. That's a really cool thing to do. You can go to the commercial or even like sales team and ask if they could like sketch something, like what if they would say that there are different types of clients that you have. So you can start by then, like if you don't have like analytics or Hotjar and all these other methods that you have. But basically someone in your company probably has done like a research sometime, and you can like start on it and then just keep adding and validating the information, of course.
I think that's such a good point. The value of being able to draw from the experience of different people on your product development and sales and customer support teams in terms of what they know about users, and use that to inform your research, especially at a time when you may not have all the typical methods available to you. Okay, well, thank you so much, Hannane. This was such a good presentation, so useful. And thank you to everyone for the great questions. The video will be up. If you have questions, post them. And we'll have this up. Anything last you want to add, Hannane?
No, I wanted to thank you again for the opportunity. It was very nice to actually translate that, because I already had the article, but I haven't done the presentation in English. So this was a very cool experience. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for presenting to us. I learned a lot, and I really enjoyed this. So thanks so much. Do check out the article. It goes into all the detail. It has a lot of really helpful visuals. We can post that to the YouTube page so that folks can find it there, and also on social. But thank you very much. I'll give you a big round of applause, and we really appreciate your time. So I think, Jane, do you want to talk about what's up next? And I guess Hannane and Mario, if you also want to mention any upcoming events for your chapters, you can do that too.
Oh yeah, actually we do have one on Thursday. It's in Portuguese. We're doing like the Ladies That UX Florianópolis with the IXDA chapter of our city. It's about UX culture and UX research, like new updated views on it. So it's going to be really cool, and it's on the Ladies That UX channel in Portuguese.
Cool. Yeah, check that out. That sounds like a really fun event. Thank you. Maria, anything coming up on your end?
Yeah, sure. So for this channel on March 9th, we're going to be live as well with Ladies That UX Milan to talk something that we still haven't published yet. We're still organizing the event, but the event's coming soon. It's gonna happen on March 9th here.
Awesome. Watch this space. It sounds like something really cool is coming. Yeah, really looking forward to this channel. So thanks so much, Mary, for creating it. I definitely be looking at things here a lot. Okay, Jane, I'll bring back the stream. So you can talk about the next thing. Give me 1 second. There you go.
Yeah. And then our next event in San Francisco will be in San Francisco online, will be on March 24th about running UX workshops with customer support. And it'll be Havana Nguyen presenting, who's actually part of Ladies That UX Atlanta. So it'll be a nice kind of US coastal collaboration between San Francisco and Atlanta. So we really hope that you can join us for that on March 24th. The details on Eventbrite will be going out soon.
Thanks so much. Yeah, join us. It's going to be really interesting, and actually is somewhat related, I think, to the questions that were coming up at the end.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that use that your workshop to build your first draft of personas.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. So to see how those two talks relate. And yeah, if you're interested, as we said at the beginning, if you're interested in giving a talk, or if you know someone who would be good, or there's just a topic you want to hear about, we do a lot of these types of events where we're talking about methods, but we also do things like career development, as Jane mentioned at the beginning. We're especially interested in looking at people or hearing from people who have been growing their teams and growing leadership during this time of being remote. So if any of that appeals to you, reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook. I guess our Instagram is ltux.sf. So basically the Facebook URL, but with a period in the middle. Twitter, or just shoot us an email. And you can email any of the other cities at ladiesux.com too. So just put their their names in there. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day or evening, wherever you are. A big thank you to our speaker, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.